Up next, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has released some new guidance to stop the spread of highly pathogenic avian influenza in dairy cattle. You heard me ask Mike about that topic just a little bit ago. For more on these developments, we turn now to Market Journal's Mike Straub.
As of April 1st, 2024, NDA is requiring a permit for any female dairy cattle entering Nebraska. It is recommended to avoid animal movement. However, if animal movement is deemed necessary, consult with your herd veterinarian and/or the NDA to assure all requirements are being met.
So the local producers should be aware of it because the requirements are for any interstate movement of lactating dairy cattle to have a negative H5N1 test within 7 days before they're allowed to move interstate. So it's a milk sample, and those are performed by Nuln laboratories, of which in Nebraska, the Nebraska Veterinary Diagnostic Center is a Nuln lab. So milk samples are collected from cows, individually from cows, and then those are sent to the lab and tested for the virus, and then the results are given back to the producer or submitting veterinarian.
In late February and early March of 2024, dairy cattle in Texas were showing signs of decreased milk production. In late March, the National Veterinary Service Laboratory in Iowa confirmed H5N1 in a milk sample of an affected cow. The virus has been diagnosed on 28 premises across 8 states. There are no confirmed cases in Nebraska.
Industry-wide, I think personally, it can be probably be fairly minimal, but it does on an individual cow basis for those that are affected can decrease their production of milk in an individual cow. On an individual cow basis, it could be substantial, but there's simply it's not as widespread that I would worry as an industry-wide impact. It certainly could change as it progresses, but no confirmed cases in Nebraska as of today. It goes back to the old adage of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So the main focus should really be keeping the virus within our best abilities off of our individual farms. So that goes back to biosecurity of the farm itself. There's lots of good resources out there for farm biosecurity. We have a Big Red biosecurity website that we are expanding now to include dairy cattle, and there's some good information there on what producers can do for their own farms to assess their biosecurity, measures they may be able to take to enhance their biosecurity on their own place, and again, keep the virus ideally off their own farm.
With no cases of H5N1 in Nebraska cattle, the focus now should be prevention by focusing on biosecurity within the farm. There are several resources to reference when trying to navigate best biosecurity practices.
The biggest one by far is an unexplained or otherwise unexplained drop in milk production. Certainly sick cattle can decrease milk production, so if there are other ailments that would be obvious, that would not be the case. But an unexplained drop in milk production in an individual cow would certainly be the most consistent finding. Some of these cows will present with a fever, can be lethargic as well, can go off feed, but the main one to be on the lookout for is a drop in milk production. I would encourage people to work closely with their normal herd veterinarian regarding testing any suspected animals that they see the clinical signs like I just mentioned, and then work with them for further steps on their own farm. Our dairy extension website, dairy.unl.edu, we've tried to update that as frequently as we can with new information. So new information is constantly coming out, and I would encourage any interested producers or Nebraskans to go to that website, the dairy extension website, to come up to be aware of new information as it becomes available.
Closely monitor cows for the clinical signs of H5N1, particularly an unexplained sudden drop in milk production. Farm biosecurity is often site-specific. While there are general principles all farms can follow, these principles need to be applied in context with the farm in question. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Mike Straub.